We caught up with Datuk Seri Kalimullah Hassan, the former newsman and current non-executive chairman of the financial advisory firm, ECM Libra. We spent the first half of the interview talking about the corporate world and how business confidence is quite shattered right now. But in the second part, we get more personal with him. And it's a tale of two halves, as they always say, about how his injury, his stroke has changed his approach to life, how he has a bucket list and how he's ticked off various parts of that bucket list and what's next for him, as well as for his children. Some time ago, Dato, you went in for a minor spinal operation, and for some strange reason, or not strange maybe, because you might be taking a suit against the relevant parties, but you suffered a stroke, and that kind of put you, aside for better part of 1.5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you whether it's changed your life. I'm sure it has, but how has it changed your life?
Suddenly tells you that you always know that you're mortal, but when that happened and I was paralyzed for a good 5 weeks, I couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. Then I realized that yes, we are mortal, and suddenly I start doing the things that you keep putting off, like your bucket list, all the things that you wanted to do. So
what was on the bucket list?
Well, among one of the things was to complete my book, which I had started talking about 10 years earlier. So I managed to complete it last year, and we published it this year.
How long did it take you?
It's
easy for a newsman, right?
Well, it's not that easy, because you always think you're not good enough, because we read the best books written by the best people, right? So when you want to write your own book, you never but it took a long time. It took from the start when I talked about it, maybe about 2006, to the time I completed the last word, almost 10 years.
What else is on the bucket list?
To safari, of course. To travel as much as I can. Unfortunately, the stroke that I had has limited my movement, so it's not so easy to travel now.
Any regrets in your 30, 40 years in the working world?
Oh yeah. There's one regret which I always talk about. If I had to live life all over again, one thing I won't do is to go back to the New Straits Times as editor-in-chief.
Yeah, that was a very tough time, because at the time a lot of people thought that you got that role because of your close links to Pak Lau. But as you now tell us, it was not a role that you wanted.
Yeah. Actually, if you read my book, I actually wrote him a letter when I first heard that he was considering me for the job. I wrote him a 6-page letter telling him why I don't want the job. And
the gist of which included the fact that?
Saying that I was doing so well in business, and I said I wanted to build up my business rather than go back as a journalist. But he said, look, I'm coming in and I want to do things. I need support, I need help. So I need you to come and help me in the media to... and of course, at that time when he first became Prime Minister, I think we were all very idealistic. We had great expectations of great changes in Malaysia, and so I went in. But within a year, I think the disappointment started setting in, seeing that, how resistant a lot of people in government were to change.
Well, that's ridiculous, because we've talked about this ad infinitum about how the media industry in this country is severely curtailed in its abilities. Utusan, the Star, NST, all controlled by political parties. Unless that changes, and there's no sign of that changing, we're going to be suffering the same fate for the long term. All part of the Zimbabwe phenomenon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it is.
So, you've written a book and you did a print run of about 2,000 copies. You sold them all out. Singapore wants to, well, maybe you might sell it abroad, but no more in Malaysia?
Yeah, I think...
there was a fallout from the publication?
Well, I think certain people were not happy,
But why? I mean, why don't you push back? Because if we want to be agents of change, and not many people have the ability to be agents of change.
No, I have explained before. I said this book was my therapy, just to get it off my chest, to set the record straight as far as I'm concerned, because I think
was the record not straight to start with?
No, it was not. I think I was much maligned. If you remember, I filed 7 suits against different people, bloggers, against Tun Mahathir's former political secretary, against my own newspaper, the New Straits Times and Berita Harian and Utusan Malaysia and Singapore Press Holdings as well. I filed suits. I got apologies from every one of them. But you know,
why did it, I mean, what were those on what basis were the suits filed in the first place?
On defamation, on slander, you know, and I felt that after Abdullah stepped down, I think the current regime went after a lot of Abdullah's aides and friends, and very unfairly, I must say. And so the book was just to set the record straight. So the book is there out in the public domain, and I think I've set the record straight as far as I'm concerned. So there's no necessity to go for a second run or second print run or third print run.
So what's next for you? You're still involved with Libra, ECM Libra?
Yeah, I'm...
they're looking for a new business to get into right now?
Well, we are always looking for new businesses, but I am non-executive chairman now. I'm almost semi-retired. In fact, I've expressed the desire to my partner, Lim Ken On, that I'd like to step down sometime this year or next year. And
but he's been buying up shares in Libra, so he controls a lot more now than before.
Yes, he does, yeah.
Any indications what Libra might get into?
I think I'm not at liberty to talk about it at this stage, yeah.
But still the financial services.
I think I can't talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about you personally? What's next?
Well, I'm involved in a lot of my charity work, which me and Ken On, we set up our foundation. We do a lot of work with the Orang Asli and the indigenous groups in Sabah and Sarawak, the Karazan, and I think we have been doing that for the last 12 years. We have won awards for corporate social responsibility. The joy is in seeing, you know, getting people, getting them educated, getting them to be able to succeed and stuff like that. So I think quite a few thousand people have passed through.
Excellent.
And that's my focus together with my colleague Lim Beng Chun, who's helping us run the foundation pro bono. So that's what I'm focused on a lot these days. Yeah.
Well, clearly, life well lived and richly deserved, all your successes. Thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of ups and downs then for the former newsman and corporate personality, Datuk Seri Kalimullah Hassan. He was very frank and very honest in terms of his assessments of the current business climate, as well as what he's going to do with his children. He was quite frank as well in terms of the highs of his careers as well as the lows of his careers. So that kind of honesty is not, you know, so apparent in our corporate types in this country anymore, because everybody seems to be talking with a veil. So it was very refreshing for The Edge to be able to get this very frank and candid assessments of the country as it stands at this point in time. Thank you for watching. Good night and good luck.